So my next question, so there's a big buzz around data at the moment. So from a data leadership perspective, what does data mean and how can data help to drive a company's strategy?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Data, as you said, is a very big buzzword, and with the AI and machine learning, etc., it's starting to be also very confusing. And even data inside a business is so confusing because everyone is talking about data, and everyone probably has his own definition of the data. So what data means. So when young guys from some stakeholders say, "Oh, I need data," but what data? What data means for you? So most of that's the most complicated things for a data leader, because it has the data title in there. And sometimes I remember in my previous role, some of my colleagues say, "You have to do it because it's your role. You only want to have data in your role. So data is your problem." No, data is so across all the companies. So a data leader should not be responsible for all the data. Data should be focused on what we should do with data and how to make the data as good as to create insight. And this is very, very interesting. So for me, the data is by itself. I did that in my startup. We only use public data, and with that, we create a product with, when I left, it's more than 400 customers. So data is so powerful by itself, and a lot of people didn't get it really. Most of the people said data is also just my reporting, or I need data to understand my business, or I need data to just look at it if it's fine, etc. If everything's working fine. But for a data leader, it should be at the next level. It should be, okay, what is the problem in my business? Where are the gaps? How I can create more revenue? How I can optimize my business? And so how I can use this data to create insight on that, and how to see the data to create better business for my company. And this is something very interesting, because sometimes most stakeholders didn't know that. The classical example when they know that is, for instance, the churn. So predicting churn is a data problem. Fine, so we can understand who will churn and probably try to return it before he's willing to churn. That's understandable. However, sometimes we have some gap in the revenue, or some gap in the optimization, and people never look at it by the data point of view. Probably they know that, but they will never go to a data team or data leaders to say, "Oh, can you look at it?" It's mostly the data leader who should see that and try to understand it, to own it, and to propose a solution. And for me, this is the real value of the data, and how we can have what is the real definition of data.
Sure, and I guess that comes back to our previous conversation around data culture. Once people understand the power of it, and you can maybe educate the broader team that there's some gems locked away in this data, then maybe that is a question that the business will start to come to you guys and say, "Hang on, we're seeing this churn, or we're seeing this drop in revenue. Can you guys help us to kind of dig a little deeper and understand where that's come from?" Yeah. So I think so I guess education is also kind of important there. And again, it comes back to this dotted line into strategy and what are you trying to achieve, rather than just looking at the data. Another conversation that we're having, and that we've spoken with ERG on our previous video series, was about who owns data in the business. So is it IT or is it the business? So is it finance or is it the head of data? So that data ownership thing is really, really interesting, isn't it? And how do you see that playing out in the future?
Yeah, that's very interesting point. First of all, for me, data leaders should not be in IT and should not be in the business. Yeah, from my point of view, it should be cross. It should be completely agnostic. For me, a data leader, because he's understanding the data, he should not be at any part because it should be completely independent. The ownership of the data is a very interesting subject. In my point of view, the data should be owned by the business. This is my point of view. Because for me, the data has a meaning. Data should be owned by someone in the business to understand what it is. If the IT take over, that means there is probably a lack of working together with the business. That means the IT over the role of a business. Or maybe is a way to business to just don't be responsible and let the IT do its things. However, the business should know what is in data, should understand data quality problem. So if I got a problem in the CRM, I will not go to the IT side, I will go to the marketing or the sales who use the CRM, and not the IT. But yes, you're right, in some companies we have this kind of issue where a system is owned only by the IT and the business didn't show their responsibility in there, which is quite not helpful for a data leader. Because
and do you think this is one of the reasons we see lots of issues in data quality? Because IT don't necessarily understand the data, it's very technology and systems focused.
Yeah.
And it's the business who really understand that data, but it's IT then that's owning it. So not having clear ownership by people that sort of really take responsibility and accountability for that data, is that a source of...
That's a source of problem. I will go much more higher than that because for me the most problematic is what is owning the data. The definition of I'm the owner of the data is sometimes very obscure in most of the business. So this is the first, we talk about the data culture. This is something we need to reinforce every time in a business. Understanding that you are finance, you own a system. If there is some problem, you should know that, and we can in the data collect the data and raise your analytic and raise your data quality issue. However, you are responsible of the data, and this role of responsible of data is sometimes completely missing because they didn't know that, they were not aware that it's very important. And all this awareness need to be done, I think, by the data leader, and reinforced by the data leader and say, we need to get there. That's very important. And that's why I said in the beginning, how to do that is by raising examples again, bringing some good examples in the business and say, we should be better than that. Look at just basic failures. If we got this system in place, we can be in a better place.
Yes.
So for me, IT owning data is wrong. However, I think is also in the business side what it means being responsible for the data. When we get there in the definition, I think after that, I don't think that an IT department would be very, very unhappy to let the business taking ownership. I think that's fine, it should be fine. The problem is more like, what is the definition of the role?
Yeah, sure. And I guess the chief data officer is becoming a more popular role and a more popular term that is being used in businesses. And I guess it does exactly that. It kind of takes the responsibility away from IT. It doesn't take it away, but it creates that kind of central leader who actually is cross-functional between IT, finance, HR, sales, and marketing. So their role, they've not got that sort of bias in terms of what they focus on. They can look at the whole. They can look at the data, the people, the culture, of course, and the underlying technology kind of as an independent piece, working with those functions to kind of, I guess, fill those gaps,
Yeah.
and join everything together. Is that what you see that role as sort of doing? Is almost putting the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle together?
Exactly, and it's also about be aware of the strategy. So participate to the strategy for the company. It's not just the chief data officer is not just someone in the background who receives some requirements from their peers or at the C level. Or could you do that for me? Could you do that for me? The chief data officer should be part of the strategy and guide for the strategy, based again on the data. So it's very, very common in most of the company. Decision has been taken by feeling or because the chief financial officer said, "Oh, this is a great opportunity for us." Yes, but which data, about what data we can prove that and we can be reassured that is a great state to go. And this is where the chief data officer should not just confirm the strategy or guide, but also bring some ideas and with the data and bring some new way to probably change the shape of the strategy of the company. So this is something very, very interesting. But I know that most of the have been a lot of conferences in London in the past 2 years, and most of the chief data officer didn't have this kind of role. It's more like a head of data role rather than chief data officer role. So it's just doing the basic management of the data rather than going forward in terms of driving the strategy based on data.
Fantastic. Well, one of our next talks is with Peter Jackson and Caroline Carruthers, the authors of the Chief Data Officer Playbook.
Yeah.
So we're interviewing them in March. So that'd be
that's great.
A very interesting one. To get their thoughts. And they talk a lot about the people aspects, and I think we've touched upon that today around it's about getting people talking, sharing ideas, and really bringing people together. And trying to make data fun, I guess. Because people are a bit afraid of data. I don't know if you find that once you start talking about data, people go, "Oh, hey, this isn't something I can touch and feel and get excited about."
I can feel that. I can see that sometimes. However, it depends on the people. I believe that if people are very, very interested in data and they work in data, they should be excited of trying to build a new idea and trying to resolve a problem with the data. This is for me the most exciting subject when I got a new or an existing subject on trying to find the gaps and see where is the pattern and try to do something new with the data. It's so exciting to arrive at the conclusion that probably change the mind of people or probably just confirm something. For me, I didn't see some people scared of the data, but it's more like exciting of new things and find new pattern in data, a new way to see something.